Today we are going to talk about peroneal tendinopathy. This is a condition that many of our patients will come in with, and it's oftentimes they're going to feel pain or discomfort down the outside of the lower leg, wrapping kind of around that ankle bone or at the outside of the foot. Now, oftentimes we will see this in our patients that either have multiple ankle sprains or in those that tend to have more of the high arch or pes cavus foot type. These patients tend to have a hard time finding their big toe. They really like to live with more of their weight on the outside of the foot. I know oftentimes I have patients that they'll just find themselves standing on the outsides of their foot.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll do footprints in our office, and you can often see sometimes with these patients that they'll have ink underneath more of the outside part of the foot, but you won't see any heavy ink underneath the ball of the big toe.
So one of our goals is going to be to strengthen the peroneal muscles. Research is really showing that tendons respond well to load. We can't just rest and expect things to get better. We have to start loading things up and getting stronger. We also want to make sure that we're getting reacquainted with putting pressure on our big toe and finding that medial column of the foot.
With rehab for any tendinopathy, you'll see a lot of banded work. And while that might be a good place to start, you have to start somewhere. We want to see, can you feel what this is supposed to feel like? We are going to show you in this video that yes, here's some banded exercises for this, but you cannot stop there. You have to progress into adding more loads, adding more weight, and then getting into things like plyometrics and jumping.
So as Dr. Conley said, one of the first places we need to start is learning how to fire up these muscles, learning what it feels like to actually get the peroneals working. In order to do that, we're going to grab our band and wrap it around the ball of the foot, holding with both hands. This can be done seated on a chair or sitting on the floor, but what I want to do is pull the band with both hands, but add more tension with my inside hand. That's going to take my ankle into inversion. Imagine the same motion as an ankle sprain. Now, when I go to press into the band, I am going to press back to a more centered position and down like I'm pressing on a gas pedal. So I'll show you what that looks like. So here I'm in inversion. I'm going to sweep back to a straighter position and down into my gas pedal. Really what we're trying to do here is we're trying to encourage that pressure through the ball of the big toe or the base of the big toe. So from here, down and press. Now we can start here with an isometric. If we want to start building up to a 30-second hold, a 45-second hold, repeat that about 3 times, we can absolutely do that. Then we can start making it more of a dynamic motion. We can start to build up to 2 or 3 sets of 20 presses here. The one thing that I don't like to do with this is I don't like to swing all the way out into what we call eversion, because I find that we can start to get a little bit of jamming in the outside of the ankle here. So just for the purposes of this exercise, I like to press kind of straight down, imagining that gas pedal and pressing from the base of the big toe. Next up, we want to start to load up the tendon. And a great way to do that is to incorporate a more targeted approach to the peroneals in a calf raise. We love doing this with a band. So ideally, you're going to tie this band to something heavy. You can tie it to a weight. You can set this up where you tie it to your kitchen table or a couch. Make sure you're holding on to either a wall or something steady. And then you're going to go up on 2 feet. Now this band is going to be pulling Dr. Conley towards the outside of her foot. So what we don't want to see is we don't want to see going out into this inversion position. We want to fight that band and go straight through the base of the big toe and then slowly lower down. So we're going to start this with 2 legs. We're focusing on one side at a time. You can build up to about 3 sets of 15 here. And then we can start to progress moving towards single leg. Oftentimes jumping from double leg straight into single leg is a little bit too much. So what we're going to do is called a 2-to-1 calf raise. So go ahead and go up on 2 feet. And then we're going to take away the left side. This means that now the right side is in charge. We're at our end range and we just need to control our descent back down to the ground. Perfect. So 2 feet, we go all the way up, fighting that band, keeping our contact with the base of the big toe, take away the opposite leg, and then control on the way down. Again, building up to that 3 set of 15 mark. The last progression here is going to be doing a full single leg progression where we go all the way up and all the way down on one leg.
So now what we're going to look at is adding load. The other thing we can do here to really target the peroneals is to place the foot on a slant board. When I put my left foot on the slant board, it's going to lengthen the outside of my calf. So I'm going to press my foot through the slant board and I'm holding the weight in the same hand. Here's the key here. As you come up into the calf raise, imagine that there was a quarter underneath the ball of your big toe. So I'm going to press through the quarter and then I'm going to come back down. Depending upon what your capacity is, again, we want to hit about 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. So you can either add load or decrease load depending upon what you are able to do. As we continue working with patients that have peroneal tendinopathies, you have to look up the chain, especially with those of us who have suffered from chronic ankle sprains. So one of our favorite drills here, we're going to put a band around the ankles and you're going to, again, press through the ball of the big toe. Okay, so I'm going to do like a little mini calf raise here. I'm going to keep my knees straight. I'm going to create tension in the band as I sidestep. As I move to my right, I'm almost pushing through the ball of my big toe on the left. And you're really going to feel tension, not only in the foot, but also at the hip. Then when I go back the other way, same concept, now I'm just pushing through the ball of my big toe on the right. And again, keep those knees nice and straight, chill upstairs, and sidestep.
So now that we have found the peroneals, we have strengthened the peroneals, and we have started to incorporate them into whole chain movement, our last thing that we want to progress to is something more dynamic, something more plyometric. So for this, we are going to incorporate the skater hop. The skater hop is a great way to get more dynamic loading in what we call the frontal plane, so moving from side to side. The reason this is going to target your peroneal muscles is in order for me to push this way. As I push off the ground, I am pressing down through that same ball of the big toe, that first MTP joint, which is really going to recruit eversion of the ankle and those peroneal muscles. So what this is going to look like is I get into my nice athletic stance and then I push, push, push. Okay, so as you're pushing off, really make sure, because we have that tendency to rock to the outside of the ankle, we're not pushing off with the outside of our foot. We're pushing off through the base of that big toe. As with any exercise protocol, please make sure that you are listening to your body. The recommendations that we've made in this video are general recommendations for sets and reps and load. So listen to your body. If you need to start with less reps or less load, you can absolutely build up throughout this video as well. If you have any questions or if you're looking for guidance, please head to gatehappens.com or email us at info@gatehappens.com and we will be happy to help.